fury of emotions sparks the wildfire of violence. It dissolves our illusions and exposes the fragile structure of reality.
I have 1,000 questions. Why did you come back?
I stood in the home I was born in. In that moment, I felt a connection.
Epsilon 11, sound off. Where are my men?
They're gone.
Choose your next move wisely.
What happened here?
Madness and hatred and lots of it. Impossible. It's you. We must continue. We've begun to uncover.
Must be lost to wander around Sinedra Forest. I'm afraid I have very little to offer. A group of strange-looking soldiers arrived here last night in an APC. And perhaps you can ask them for help. It's not the first time I've seen them. They always seem to be snooping around here for something. They parked their APC just beyond the woods, to the north. Once in the woods, follow the wind chimes. They will lead the way through. The gate to enter the woods is locked. Here, take this key to unlock it.
So there's a wide variety of enemies in the game. So we have kind of like the more common enemy type, which we call the Hollow Walker. So it's these kind of humanoid, bipedal, white enemies that you can see here with the holes in their faces and their chests and whatnot. So obviously there's a reason why they're called Hollow Walkers, and there's different types of them and different kind of tiers of strength and powers. But when you're facing pretty much the biggest threats in the game, it's what we call like a dual entity. So it's like a Hollow Walker has a haze inside of it. So it's when the haze is present. I'm not gonna get into the details right away of what the haze represents. It's all part of the lore and what you will figure out in the game. But when you're facing a combo like these dual entities, and it can go to like 3 of them, 4 of them, there's the herders, there's the fervents, and different types like that. But that's when you really need to master the combat system. That's when you start having to use all the tools and techniques at your disposal. The drone has tons of skills to upgrade it, and the drone is very much your little sidekick to help you in fighting multiple enemies at a time. He's not a sidekick in the sense where he talks and he has an AI. He's very much a drone that has its own protocol to do this crowd management during the combat. So you have your different weapons, you have your limbic skills, attack to weapons, which is basically you consider as your magic, even though in the game it's not considered magic, there's kind of like a scientific base to them. But that's when you really need to master all the little subtleties of the combat system, use all the tools in your arsenal and at your disposition, and get in the melee with these kind of dual or triple or quadruple entities and being able to manage them and be victorious. It takes place in 1993, and yet we still wanted dungeons in the game, and I didn't want the dungeons to take place in an abandoned metro station or, you know, in an abandoned factory because it's the modern era. I still wanted the dungeons to be very ancient things. And this brings us to another really important aspect of the game, or one of the very important themes of the game, which is history, historicity, deep history. So history that goes even before history. So there's a lot of mysteries and a lot of lore, and the origin of what's going on in the country and the link to the Civil War is all tied to that deep history and also what has happened since. I won't get into too much details because that will be part of another video for you guys, but you can see a bit of it here, and it shows you the varied palettes and moods and atmospheres that we have in the game, which also I think is something quite interesting and unique that we're doing in Hell Is Us. Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Jacques Belatet. I'm the creative director and the art director on Hell Is Us. I hope you enjoyed the trailer that you've seen recently. Today we're back in the spotlight. We're gonna show you a bit of gameplay, a bit more than what you've seen in the trailer, and I hope that you will enjoy this part greatly. All right, so let's start with the basics. So Hell Is Us is set to be released in 2025. It's for pretty much everything. So Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and PC. So the game is a bit of a take back to games from the 1990s. We're a team of passionate people. The average on the team is like 20 years of development experience. So we're from a different generations, and we have a lot of love for how the games in the 90s were made and how they were played and experienced, especially the fact that, there was no hand-holding, there was no silver plattering. You kind of had to figure stuff out by yourself. You were really in control of your exploration and your own discoveries, and this is what we're trying to do in Hell Is Us, obviously with modern flair and kind of like modern knowledge of game design and whatnot, but very much put you back in the driver's seat of your experience and of your exploration, and then the result and the joy of your discoveries. So Hell Is Us takes place in a country called Hadia. Hadia is in the grips of a vicious civil war. You play the role of Remy. Remy is actually from Hadia. He was born there, but his mom smuggled him out at the age of 5, like it sometimes happens in those countries. And what I mean by that is Hadia is a hermit state, is a turtle state. It's completely closed off on itself. Nobody goes out, nobody comes in. And that's why Remy's mom decided to smuggle him out so he can have a better life. He grew up in the foster home system, or the foster system in Canada. He's always wanted to come back to Hadia. He wants to find his parents again. He wants to kind of like confront them. He's got a lot of questions for them. He understands why they abandoned him, but yet, abandonment is pretty much the biggest trauma that a child can have. And there's like a loop that hasn't been closed properly for him towards this situation and his parents. When the game starts, Remy has finally been able to infiltrate Hadia during the brutal civil war that I was talking about. Remy is a ON peacekeeper. He quit his post, he went AWOL, infiltrated the country, and this is where the game starts. Remy remembers 2 things, and that means the players remember 2 things. It's that his village of birth was called Jova, and his father was the blacksmith of Jova. Those are the only clues you begin the game with, and these are the only clues that Remy also know. So equipped with this knowledge, with these clues, you begin the game and you try to find your way to Jova.
Hell Is Us is an upcoming action-adventure game developed by Rogue Factor and published by Nacon. Set in a war-torn country dealing with the appearance of mysterious supernatural entities, Hell Is Us combines exploration, combat, and narrative-driven gameplay in a dark and intriguing world. The game takes place in a semi-open world where a country ravaged by civil war also experiences a strange, supernatural event. Mysterious artifacts and creatures start to appear, and players will need to explore and survive in this hostile environment. Hell Is Us follows the protagonist, who is sent on a journey to uncover the origins of the supernatural phenomenon, while also grappling with their own personal history. The narrative weaves between the devastation of war and the eerie forces now inhabiting the land. The game emphasizes melee combat, with players needing to fight against various supernatural entities using specialized weapons. Combat is expected to be visceral and strategic, requiring players to adapt to the unpredictable nature of their enemies. The semi-open world design focuses on discovery and survival. Players will explore ruined cities, forests, and other landscapes impacted by both the war and the supernatural occurrences. There is an emphasis on exploration without the use of traditional markers or guides, encouraging players to find their own path. Hell Is Us is visually striking, with a dark, moody atmosphere that complements its blend of war-torn landscapes and supernatural horror. The use of lighting and environmental storytelling enhances the eerie and ominous tone of the game. The game is directed by Jonathan Jacques Beltet, known for his work on Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. This brings a strong pedigree to the development team, particularly in designing complex and immersive worlds. Hell Is Us is shaping up to be a unique blend of narrative-driven action-adventure gameplay, with a focus on atmosphere, exploration, and supernatural elements. Players can expect a tense and eerie journey through a world ravaged by both war and otherworldly forces. The game will be released on September 4th, 2025 on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and Series S. Now you can enjoy the screenshots without any interruption. Enjoy.